kunja bihang hari. Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradham Hari. Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradham Hari. Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana. Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana. Yamuna Tera Vanacham Hari. Yamuna Tera Vanacham Hari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihang Hari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihang Hari. Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradham Hari. Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradham Hari. Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana. Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana. Yamuna Tera Vanacham Hari. Yamuna Tera Vanacham Hari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihang Hari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihang Hari. Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradham Hari. Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradham Hari. Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana. Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana. Yamuna Tera Vanacham Hari. Yamuna Tera Vanacham Hari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Shama Sundara, Shama Sundara De. Jaya Radha Sham, Radha Sham, Radha Sham, Jaya Radha Sham. Jaya Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Jaya Krishna Balaram. Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Vishwapad, Paramahamsa Jaya Shota Sapta Shishmachila, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. Jaya Vishwapad, Paramahamsa Jaya Shota Sapta Shishmachila, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Srila Prabhupada ki. Ananta Kodi Vaishnavrinda ki. Jai Sri Rup Sri Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Sri Jeev Gopal Bhatta Das Raghunath Chari Goswami Prabhu ki. Prem se ko Shri Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivajari Gaura Bhaktivedanta ki. Sri Sri Radha Krishna Go Gopal Gopi Gopi Vinaya Cham Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhana ki. Vrindavan Dham ki, Mathura Dham ki, Mayapur Dham ki, Jagannathpuri Dham ki, Tulsi Maharani Bhakti Devi ki, Ganga Yamuna Devi ki, Harinam Sankirtan Yagya ki, Sri Sri Gaunitaye ki, Sri Sri Krishna Balaram ki, Sri Sri Radha Shyamachandra ki, Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim sarasatim vyasam tato jayamudhirayet. Nashtapaye shavadesho nityam bhagavate sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naistiki. Ete chamsa kalapumsam krishnastu bhagavan sayam indriyar vyaklam lokam ridyante yuge yuge. Nama sankirtanam yasya sarva papa pranasanam pramanavudumana samarastam namami harim param. Reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 27th chapter, text number 21. Indram nas tvābhiṣekṣyāmo brahmaṇā coditā vayam avatīrṇo viśvātman bhūmer bhārāpanuttaye indram tvābhiṣekṣyāmo brahmaṇā coditā vayam avatīrṇo viśvātman bhūmer bhārāpanuttaye
indram tvābhiṣekṣyāmo brahmaṇā coditā vayam avatīrṇo viśvātman bhūmer bhārapanuttaye
indram tvābhiṣekṣyāmo brahmaṇā coditā vayam avatīrṇo viśvātman bhūmer bhārapanuttaye tvābhiṣekṣyāmo
Indram as Indra, na our, tva to you, abhiṣekṣyāmaḥ. We shall perform the bathing ceremony of coronation. Brahmaṇā, by Lord Brahmā, coditā, ordered, vayam, we, avatīrṇa, you have descended, viśva-ātman, O soul of the universe, bhūmer, of the earth, bhāra, the burden, apanuttaye, in order to alleviate. Translation and purport by the disciples of Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. Translation. As ordered by Lord Brahmā, we shall perform your bathing ceremony to coronate you as Indra. O soul of the universe, you descended to this world to relieve the burden of the earth. Purport. Surabhi makes it quite clear in this verse that she has had enough of the leadership of imperfect demigods like Purandar, Indra, and now she is determined to directly serve the Supreme Lord. Since Brahma has ordered her attempt to coronate Lord Kṛṣṇa as a personal Lord is authorized by higher authority. Moreover, Lord Kṛṣṇa Himself comes down to the earth to relieve the burden of self-destructive, mundane administration. And thus it is perfectly consistent with the Lord's own purpose that He become the Lord of Surabhi. Since the Lord rules millions of universes, He can certainly take care of Mother Surabhi. In fact, Surabhi wanted to beg the Lord for her own purification, and she earnestly makes a proposal to Viśva-ātman, the soul of the universe, Sri Krishna. Om ajnanatirmirandasya jnananjanasalakaya chakshurunmilitam yenam tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Sayam Rupakadam Ayam Tadati Savadhantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta-pada-kamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raganatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadhaitam Savadutam Parjana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastude Datta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshari Vrishabhanu Sude Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Vacha Paritanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Indram nas tvābhiṣekṣyāmo brahmaṇā coditā vayam avatīrṇo viśvātman bhūmer bhārāpanuttaye. As ordered by Lord Brahmā, we shall perform your bathing ceremony to coronate you as Indra, O soul of the universe. You descend to this world to relieve the burden of the earth. So here in this chapter, prayers of Surabhi are mentioned, and Indra, the lord of one of the heavenly planets, so he understood his mistake in not properly showing respect to the Brijavasis and ultimately Krishna, the Supreme Lord. Indra is very powerful personality, servant of the Lord, but due to the influence of the modes of material nature, so even the powerful personalities, the demigods, they become bewildered. So what to speak of on this planet? Even sometimes we see, we are, by Krishna's mercy, by Prabhupada's mercy, we understand that we are the servants of Krishna and we engage in devotional service. But still then also, as sadhakas, as practicing devotees, many times one becomes bewildered due to the influence of the modes of material nature, due to unwanted desires in the heart which are surfacing, and then one becomes bewildered. In this situation then one has to rectify oneself, and one has to ultimately take shelter of the Lord and beg forgiveness from the Lord. So Indra, actually many times it happened in the past also that he committed some mistake in regards to proper behavior, sadachar. And so not this one here, this incident, so he offended the Brijavasis and Krishna, and later on, as we know, although he realized his mistake to some extent, and he apologized, but still some misconception was there or some pride was there, and he was not fully able to submit himself as the humble servant of the Lord. And therefore later on also, he became bewildered again also, as Krishna was in Dwarka. And so he went to the heavenly planets one time and he got a parijata flower from there. And as we know, we offered to Rukmini, his beloved wife. At that time, one of the other wives, Satyabhama, is very hot-tempered. Rukmini, she's very, of course, the whole eternal associates of the Lord. But different natures are there of different devotees or personalities. So Rukmini Devi, she's very submissive to Krishna. It is explained that actually she is an expansion of Chandravali, so who is known as of being Dakshin Swabhav, right-wing gopi, meaning she is submissive to Krishna and understanding that Krishna is the Lord and I am the servant of the Lord. And so she is one of the principal gopis, Chandravali. Actually, there are millions of gopis. Two are considered foremost, Srimati Radharani and Chandravali. And of the two, of course, Srimati Radharani is foremost. And her nature is Vama, Bhav, Prakash. So she is completely dedicated to Krishna, and she is the most exalted of all the associates of Krishna. But her nature is that Krishna belongs to me. Krishna is mine, mamata. So, but still, the underlying principle is there that I am the servant of Krishna. But then in the conjugal relationship, so then sometimes it is more prominent, that moon, and that Krishna is mine. So, and Satyabhama is actually expanded form of Srimati Radharani. So in Braj, Srimati Radharani is most exalted of all the exalted associates of the Lord. She is most exalted. And in Dwarka, so actually Rukmini Devi, so she is considered the foremost of the queens because of her gentle nature, submissive nature. So, but Satyabhama also well known, but she's a little hot-tempered. And so she was upset. Why, Krishna, why are you giving flower to Rukmini and not giving to me? And then Krishna had to appease her, and then he went to the heavenly planet. And so he didn't take one more flower, but he took the whole parijata tree. And then Indra said, hey, what are you doing? Again, he forgot his position as a servant of the Lord. No, you cannot take this parijata tree that belongs to the heavenly planets. That cannot go to the earthly realm. And then Krishna, it's okay, Indra Dev, I'm taking the tree. And he was ready to fight. And Krishna just brushed him away. And of course, ultimately again realized, I'm just such a fool again, overcome by false ego, forgetting my position. So that is the situation in this material world. Very easily one is bewildered by the false ego, that I'm something special. But we have to always remember that we are the insignificant servants of Krishna. Jiver sopoi Krishnere nityadas. And Krishna is always our Lord and Master, so we always have to remember. But in conditioned life, many times one forgets. So Indra, so he, with the help of Surabhi, actually the demigods, as mentioned here, Lord Brahmā, he asked Surabhi to come and to assist Lord Indra in begging forgiveness from Krishna. So Surabhi, she was ready to do immediately, and she went there, and then so she offered these beautiful prayers. And as mentioned in the purport by the acharyas, that so she was ready to help Lord Indra at the same time she wanted to herself surrender to Kṛṣṇa fully. And as explained here, so she was a little hesitant to be under the shelter of Lord Indra because of his many times not acting properly according to the scriptures. So she understood then that actually my real master is Kṛṣṇa, so why I should surrender to Lord Indra? Of course, in conditioned state, we cannot immediately take full shelter of Kṛṣṇa, but we take shelter of the representative of Kṛṣṇa, that is the spiritual master, or the Vaishnavas. And the Gurujan. So Gurujan means not only the spiritual master, but the Diksha Guru, but maybe Shiksha Guru, elders. Like for example in the temple, so one has to abide by the orders of the temple management. So they're also Gurujan. One cannot think, oh, my Guru is such and I don't have to listen to anybody. No, if you're in the temple, you have to listen to the temple authorities. So different authorities may be there. They are known as Gurujan, the elders. Even father and mother, ultimately they are addressed as Gurujan. They are elders, they are there to guide us, to help us. So they all have to be respected. And then we can actually live peacefully if you're under the shelter of the devotees, the elders who are experienced, who are realized, who can then bestow their mercy upon us, so we can be peaceful and we can advance nicely, and ultimately then we can take shelter of Kṛṣṇa fully. So Surabhi, so she then abided by the orders of Lord Brahmā, and so she then took shelter of Kṛṣṇa by saying these beautiful prayers and then bathing with her milk. Kṛṣṇa, so Abhishek was there, abhiṣekṣyāmaḥ. So we shall perform the bathing ceremony of coronation to show to the world that actually Kṛṣṇa is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is the Lord. Indra, so it means the Lord of the heavenly planets, but Deva, the Lord of all the, even the demigods, that is Lord Kṛṣṇa. So therefore he is known also as Purandar or Indra. Actually all these names of the demigods, they are given by Kṛṣṇa ultimately. Everything is coming from Kṛṣṇa. All the spiritual worlds, the material worlds. And so when the material world is created by the will of Kṛṣṇa, with the help of course, Brahma is there appointed to see over the proper management of this world, the creation. So he's a secondary creator. And so that the different names are given, these are posts, like Lord Indra. There's one Jiva is becoming Indra, and after some time another Jiva becomes Lord Indra. During the lifetime of Lord Brahma, there are many Indras, many Jivas. So in the position of Brahma, of Indra. So whereas Brahma is only one Brahma, so he's there in the beginning of the creation till the end and that is one lifetime. And then everything is warmed up, and then again another, when Vishnu is inhaling and then when he's exhaling, again the material universes are manifested, then another Lord Brahma is there to help with the process of creation, and then ultimately Lord Vishnu is there to maintain, and then Lord Shiva is there to do the work of destruction of this, to some extent of this material creation. But then everything is actually happening by the will of the Lord. And so even the name Shiva ultimately, that can also be applied to Kṛṣṇa, or all the names are there. Brahma, Param Brahma, that is Kṛṣṇa. Satyam Shivam Sundaram. So Kṛṣṇa is Param Satya, is Param Sundar, most beautiful. And Kṛṣṇa is most auspicious. Shiva means auspicious. So these are all ultimately given by the Lord. But then here in the pastime, So Krishna is always the Supreme Lord, and it doesn't have to be established, but to show to the common man. So the coronation was performed, and then the name was given Govinda. It is explained. Before he was known as Gopal or Krishna Nandanandan, but then during the coronation, Indra gave the name Namkaran Samskar, from one point of view, giving the name. But the name Govinda actually is also eternal. In Golok, Krishna is known by many names in the Nitya Lila. So one of them is Govinda, that is Krishna's name, not different from Krishna. Eternally his name is Govinda, but in this world, of course even he appeared, his Janma Lila is there, and then there was Namkaran Samskar, name-giving ceremony. And because everyone was afraid of Lord Kṛṣṇa at that time, he's one small lord, he's there, but of course a demoniac attitude was there, but he was the king of Matra. So he was there, and so he had heard that the eighth child of Vasudeva and Devaki will kill him, so he was very much afraid. And so he killed the children of Vasudeva and Devaki, the 6 children who first appeared, and then he wanted to kill the next one. The next pregnancy was there, Lord Brahmā, Balaram was there, but he was transferred from the womb of Devaki to the womb of Rohini, so Shankarshan. And then Krishna appeared and he was brought. And of course we know that ultimately Krishna also appeared in Gokul, and even Rohini, she was already pregnant. And Adi Balaram was there in the womb. And Shankarshan merged, Vasudeva Devaki Putra, Shankarshan merged into Adi Balaram and Vasudeva Krishna. So he appeared and he was brought to Gokul, and then he merged into Yashodananda and Krishna. And then both of them, so then they appeared, and there was a name-giving ceremony of Krishna Balaram. But it was done hidden in the Goshala. And they didn't call also the cool guru. They had the 2 spiritual masters were there in Braj, Baguri Muni and Sandilya Muni. But they didn't call for 2 reasons. One, because they didn't want to make an official thing, and also because actually Garga Muni was considered to be practically Jagat Guru, the most prominent Acharya. So they called him. And then so he was called, and privately he was doing the name-giving ceremony and giving the name Krishna and giving the name Balaram. But these names are eternal. But then he's inspired by the Lord, and his Trikalagya also Garga Muni knows past, present and future, just like Narada Muni also and others. So the name of the Lord, the names of the Lord, they are eternal. Just like Krishna is eternal, his name is eternal. But in the past time, at that point, the name was given, Govinda, very common name, very beautiful name of Krishna. And actually, we have 3 deities which are very important in our Gauri Vaishnava Sampradaya that the Acharyas have explained: Madan Mohan, Govinda Dev and Gopinath. First we approach Madan Mohan because we are so much in this material world attracted to things of this world, and the men especially to women, and of course women may be attracted to men or things of this world. And in order to become nicely attracted to Krishna and detached from this world by taking shelter of Krishna as Madan Mohan. Madan is the Lord of Love, Cupid. So by which the common man is very quickly bewildered and becomes lusty. But if he takes shelter of Krishna, who is known as Madan Mohan, is bewildering Cupid himself. So by taking shelter of him, then we may be freed from the influence of Cupid of this world, by taking shelter of Krishna, the transcendental Cupid. And then we can advance, and then Govinda Devi is there to accept our service in purified consciousness. And ultimately in our Gauri Vaishnava Sampradaya, and then we may come to the pure stage and realizing our spiritual identity as being completely different from the gross and subtle body in a loving relationship with Krishna, and mostly in our sampradaya, as the acharyas, our sampradaya, mostly in Gopi Bhav, so then we can approach Gopinath and the Lord of the Gopis and make our life perfect. So wonderful descriptions are there in the Srimad Bhagavatam of the pastimes of Krishna in this world. Two kinds of pastimes are there. And the pastimes in this world are known as Naimitika Lila, Prakat Lila. The pastimes which become manifest to the eyes of the ordinary person and are known also Naimitika because they are occasional pastimes, like Krishna taking birth, that is only in this world. Or Krishna going to Mathura, Krishna killing demons. That is not happening in Golok. And the pastimes in Golok, they are known as aprakat. They are not visible to the ordinary person, only extraordinary persons. They can see Krishna, Krishna's wonderful pastimes in Golok. So therefore they are known as aprakat, they are known as Nitya-lila. They are permanently enacted. Whereas in this world, so Krishna is appearing only when the material world is manifested, but it is not always manifested, only for some time, which is very long time for us. But in terms of eternity, it is only sometimes for a little while the material world is manifested. So we should hear both of the pastimes that Prabhupada has explained in one purport, the Nitya Lila and the Naimitika Lila. Beautiful pastimes. And so they are there for us to meditate on the Lord, and we can learn so much from these pastimes, especially of the pastimes in this world, and the dealings of Krishna with his eternal associates, and also of those who are practicing or those who are servants of the Lord but who are also not liberated, like the demigods. They are exalted personalities, much more than the human beings, but most of them, they are not liberated yet also. They are still in the bodily platform. So Surabhi, so she also took shelter of, and it is mentioned that she has come from the heavenly planets. So there's a planet there in heavenly planets where the Surabhi cows are there, but then in the spiritual world the cows are also known as Surabhi, and so they are transcendental. So eternal associates of the Lord, cows. So usually we worship them, but we respect all the cows. So what to speak of Surabhi from the heavenly planet, and then what to speak of the cows on this planet. So they are accepted as mothers because they are giving milk, which are very important. So therefore, and of course Krishna is the Supreme Lord, but he is very fond of the cows, and he's a gop, he's a cowboy, and he's taking care of the cows, and he has love for everyone, but a special affection is there for the cows and the calves and the bulls also. And therefore in this world the pastime was there, as we know, so that of worshipping, that incidence is there here, the pastime, and he's showing that we should respect the brahmanas, the cows, and Giriraj Govardhan. But we should also not disrespect the demigods. So Krishna didn't tell his father that you don't have to care for Indra, but you don't have to worship him. Therefore, we do not worship Krishna, but we worship Krishna, but we do not worship Indra there. But we should show respect to him, although sometimes he does some mistake. But still, we have to respect him. And all the demigods also, Lord Brahmā, Lord Shiva, but even more so than Lord Brahmā, Lord Indra, we should respect Lord Brahmā. And his Adiguru in our sampradaya is directly empowered by Krishna or Vishnu. And Lord Shiva also is the Adiguru in his sampradaya, Rudra sampradaya. He also gained knowledge from Krishna himself or Vishnu. So we have to show them respect. But we do not worship them on a daily basis, but we should respect them from time to time. And even when we have elaborate ceremonies of the Lord, for example, we install the deities, at that time we show respect to all the demigods. That is the rule. So, also today, actually, is Purnima Tithi, the full moon day and night of Margashirs Mass, just after Kartik Mass. The next month is known as Margashirsha. And Krishna is saying amongst the month, I am Margashirsha. Other name, as we know, the different names are there according to the Vedic literatures in Sanskrit, like Kartik Mass, then Margashirs Mass, Posh Mass, and so on. But the name of the Lord is given also, like Keshav, Damodar for Kartik Mass, and for this month, the month is known as Keshav also, a name of Krishna. So again, all the names are coming from Krishna. But then also Vishnu Murtis are there. Keshav, there's a Vishnu Murti Keshav, there's a Vishnu Murti Damodar, and so on. But all these names are also there. And Krishna may be addressed in this way also, is addressed as Keshav, Madhav, and so on. Krishna is the source of everything, and everything is included in him. So on this day of Purnima Tithi, the full moon day and night, the gopis, they concluded their Katyayani Vrat. The day after Kartik, the first day of this Margashirsha Mass, the gopis, not all the gopis, some of the gopis who actually had performed worship of Krishna for many lifetimes and they became perfect. So they took birth on these planets where Krishna is performing his pastimes. And the acharyas have explained, even in our case, so we are performing devotional service, and what is our goal? To go to Golok Vrindavan. Okay, we give up the body and we go to Golok Vrindavan. Right? Yes? Everyone desires that? But not possible. You cannot directly go to Golok. If you become perfect, you realize your Sarup, known as Sarup Siddhi. When you realize who you are in Krishna Lila, what is your relationship with Krishna, even then you don't go directly to Golok. But after giving up your body, you will go to one of the universes. You will leave this universe and you go to one of the universes where Krishna just appeared. And there you will take birth the last time from a womb of a gopi, and then you grow up, and then under the guidance of the other gopis you learn about Krishna, you hear about Krishna, then you want to meet Krishna. And then you're getting trained up. Okay, Krishna likes this, Krishna likes that. And so then these gopis who were there and they were desiring then to have Krishna as their beloved, that is a husband or pati or upapati, husband or beloved, are practically the same. Like the gopis, Radharani, and so they are known as the beloved of Krishna. Parakiya bhav, because they are young, they are not married to Krishna. Krishna is not married, he never. But the Parakiya bhav is there, the gopis are there, the most beloved of Krishna, headed by Srimati Radharani. But then the Swakiya bhav is there, that is actually included also, the relationship between husband and wife. Because Krishna is Param Purush and is the husband of the gopis ultimately from the point of view of the tattva vichar, the consideration of the absolute truth. They belong to Krishna. So Krishna is Jagatpate, is the Lord of the whole, of the universe, of Mother Earth also, of everyone ultimately. So also of the gopis. But in the past time, and the consideration of the past time, so they are not officially married. There was not any marriage ceremony in the spiritual world. So they are not known to be married. Whereas Lakshmi Narayan, they are known to be husband and wife. Rukmini and Krishna, Satyabhama and Krishna, they are known as husband and wife in the spiritual world since time immemorial. But Krishna and Radharani, the superior, actually, Vasudeva Krishna is expanded form of Krishna, Yashodanandan. And as explained, so the queens are expansions of the gopis in Braj, so they are supreme. So so we have to see that this relationship ultimately of husband and wife, that is included in the Parakya Bhav ultimately. So in this, but we are talking here about the manifested pastimes here in this world, and so the gopis who were then doing this Katyayani Vrat, so they had become perfect by many lifetimes worshipping Krishna, like even the sages in Dandakaranya. There were many lifetimes they were meditating on Krishna as the Supreme Lord, also in Gopi Bhav. And then they saw Ramchandra, and then the feeling was there, oh, we want to have him as our Pati, our Lord. So, because Ram is not different from Krishna, but there's a difference there also. They are simultaneously one and different. Ramchandra, Bhagavan, is an expanded form of Krishna ultimately. And Ramchandra, he understood the consciousness because he's Bhagavan also, Purushottam. And then he told them that in this lifetime not possible to have some association, intimate association with me. And I took the vow only to have one wife, Ekapatni Vrat. But in my next incarnation as Krishna, then you will be blessed to have my association. So which they did also. So they... so when Krishna appears on this planet, the different sadhakas, they were able to join the pastimes for the first time. So the sages in Dandakaranya, they were in a group, together they were meditating and they all joined the pastime and had a relationship with Krishna. And some they were doing privately the bhajan alone, and they may also then have attained perfection, as here the gopis, these different gopis. And so they actually took the guidance and the blessings of the eternal associates, headed by Srimati Radharani, of how to do this Katyayani Vrat. So early morning they prayed Katyayani Mahamaye Mahayogini Dishwari Nandagopasuta Devi Patyame Kurute Namaha. Katyayani Mahamaye. So Katyayani Devi or Mahamaya. But we should understand it is not the external energy, Mahayogini Adishwari, but the internal energy of the Lord, which also has many names, the Swarup Shakti or Yoga Maya, or here known as Katyayani. Even Durga Devi, Durga is also a name of the internal potency of the Lord. Durga Yoga Maya. The internal potency. So this Katyayani Devi is actually the internal potency of the Lord. And so she was then accepting the bhav and then blessed them, of course. And whereas Katyayani in this material world is there, the external energy of the Lord, Mahamaya, Durga Devi in this material world, manifestation of Durga Devi, the consort of Lord Shiva. So, but even of course Lord Shiva ultimately we know is an expanded form of Krishna, Shiva Tattva, and Durga Devi ultimately is also expanded form of Srimati Radharani, the external energy. The internal energy, all the Lakshmi Devi, Sita Devi, the manifestations of Srimati Radharani, and even the external energy, Durga Devi ultimately is a manifestation of Srimati Radharani. In order to fully approach Krishna, so we have to take shelter of the internal energy. So naturally then, so the gopis, they were worshipping the internal potency of the Lord, Katyayani Devi, in order to be blessed to have the association of Krishna as the beloved of Krishna. So every day they were chanting this mantra and praying, please, Katyayani Devi, let Pati Me Kurute Namaha. Let Krishna, the son of Nanda Baba, become my beloved or my husband. So they were praying every day. So after taking bath early morning in the cold weather, and then doing a small worship of Katyayani Devi, Gandha Pushp Dupti Naivedya, offering some chandan, a little bit, or scent, and then flowers, incense, ghee lamp, and some Naivedya means some boga offering foodstuffs, fruits, dry fruits, nuts, and sweets. This is usually the offering in Naivedya. And later on then during the day, so they were preparing khichdi also, havishyan, rice and dal together, and then they were accepting that. So they were doing that for 1 month, and today on the last day, so they did the puja in the morning, and then later on, Avivarita Bath is, the snan is there. Again, when everything is over, then they will take bath again. That even for the other pastimes of the Lord, it is explained, or in the Vedic literatures, that after a great ceremony is performed, then there's a last bath is there. On the last day at noontime. So very happily they took bath again in the Jamuna. And usually in Vedic culture, Vedic time, so there's a bathing ghat, the bathing place for the man, and bathing place for the women. So they're separate, not together they will take bath. Because so some distance has to be there between men and women for obvious reasons in this material world, because the attraction towards each other is very strong. So any normal person, if he sees a beautiful woman, then he becomes attracted. Only saintly person, they can resist that. And of course some abnormal people are there, they don't have attraction. But generally it is there, so therefore they have a separate bathing place. And at that time, usually men, they have a gamsha and they go to take bath, because it is mentioned usually one should not take bath naked. At that time, they're young girls. Even you can see now, you go to the Jamuna, and the small boys and girls, not in the winter, but when it's a little warmer, they go and take, especially the boys, but even sometimes girls, and because they don't have any thoughts of some conjugal exchange. And when they are very small, the sex desire is not there. So they go naked inside the water, nobody says anything. But usually it's explained, one should not go naked in the holy river, one should not take bath naked. A gamsha has to be there for the man, and kopis also. And then for the ladies, usually have also some dress for taking bath also. And sometimes, of course at home is something else, sometimes it may be without clothes, but not in the holy river. But then the gopis, so because they were small, they put the cloth in the river. That happened today on this Titi, and they were taking bath. And then Kṛṣṇa came there with some of the friends, the smaller friends, not those of the same age, the smaller friends, also very small. And then Kṛṣṇa, he took the gopis' cloth, and he sat there in the tree. And then the gopis, they wanted to come out, and it was cold, and they were looking for the cloth. Where are the cloth? And Kṛṣṇa is there in the tree, and the cloth there in his hand. Here, you want your cloth? Yeah, oh Kṛṣṇa, naughty boy, please give us back the cloth. Yeah, okay, you come out, but what you have to do, because actually bathing without cloth is not proper. And when they were coming out and they were covering their private part, well, they were small, but still. And they also, something they knew from the mothers. And then he said, you did aparat to Varun Dev, to the water gods, because you're naked in the water, so you should fold your hands. And then you come and take your cloth. They were hesitant, but then they surrendered to Kṛṣṇa. And in this way, Kṛṣṇa accepted them as their beloveds, and because also, according to Vedic culture, only the husband can see the wife without cloth. So this way we can see he accepted them as his beloved and his just like wife. So Parakya and Swakya is both included there. And then he gave them the cloth and he told them, very soon we will meet again. And so very soon was actually 10 months later, doing Sharadiya Ras, Purnima. But during 10 months, still they were wanting to be with Kṛṣṇa, but they could not because of the custom also, the girls and the boys. So they're not able to be always together. But then on the Ras Purnima, the Rasalila was there and Kṛṣṇa played the flute and called all the gopis. And so the gopis then they were able to come and first time enter the Rasa Mandal, the Ras Lila, and dance with Kṛṣṇa. One place Prabhupada is saying also that, and the goal of life is to dance with Krishna. So, but of course very few, they will attain this position. But so that is possible, so that happened on this day, the wonderful pastime. So that is the goal of life, to enter Krishna's pastimes, and especially now Sampradaya, the Gopi Bhav, and so we can dance with Krishna or serve Krishna or the divine couple. Usually as Gauri Vaishnavas, we're taking shelter of Rupa Goswami as sadhaka, as practicing devotee and in perfect position. We take shelter of Rupa Manjari, and they are just there wanting to serve the divine couple, Radha and Krishna. And they don't even want to be intimately connected with Krishna. They're just happy serving the divine couple, and especially Srimati Radharani. So that is Radha Dasam, that is ultimately the goal in our Sampradaya. But some, they may be able to enter the Raslila and dance. But whatever the position, or some want to become cowboy, that is fine, that is nice to play with Krishna. So that is ultimately the goal of life. So by daily worshipping the Lord and chanting the Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, and hearing these wonderful pastimes, in very quickly we can attain perfection. Hare Krishna. So it's already 9 o'clock. So we'll stop here, or Prabhuji, you have some comment or some question?
I heard that all the queens had parijata trees. I heard not only Rukmini and Satyabhama, but I heard all the queens had in Krishna book. Parijata trees.
Yeah, ultimately, all the queens, they had parijata trees, yes. Yeah.
Krishna loves everyone.
Yeah, Krishna loves everyone, and he has to take care of all the wives. 16,108, and he does take care nicely. He can. He has the power in the morning. There's 16,108 palaces in Dwarka, and Krishna is in each palace. He's expanded. But then afterwards, during the day, he's going to Sudharma Assembly Hall, and at 16,108 Krishna, they become one. And then evening time again is expanding, and then spending, and is again there with all the queens. That is Adibhu Krishna, wonderful Krishna. Yes, Vaikuntha, okay.
Srimati Radharani and Chandravali is the real sisters?
Chandravali, they are cousin sisters. Radharani and Chandravali, they are cousin sisters.
And Chandravali is younger of Radharani.
She's almost the same age. Almost the same age, but she's a little younger. But they're cousin sisters, and she's a little younger. Yes. They are Vrindavan Maharaj, the father. The father of Radharani also has brothers, but their names are not even mentioned. But the brothers of Nanda Baba, they are mentioned. So, but Chandravali, so she's the cousin sister of Srimati Radharani. But she has a sister also. She has a brother, the big brother, elder brother, Sridham. And she has a younger sister known as Ananga Manjari. Ananga Manjari is a manifestation of Balaram. And she's a very special personality. And although she's younger than Radharani and the gopis, Ananga Manjari, like the other Manjaris. And usually the Manjaris are just serving the divine couple, and they don't even feeling the need to dance with Krishna. They just want to assist the divine couple. But Ananga Manjari, sometimes she's there in the loving embrace of Krishna. So very special personality. And the Radha Kund, her place is there also. Her kunja is there, and is mentioned in the middle of Radha Kund. So sometimes the pastimes are performed there, so special personality. So we stop here. Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.